EP23rd Annual Lord Passover.
53rd Annual Lord's Passover is going to be held down here in Florida.
It's going down.
You're here tonight to get a chance to be righteous enough to be worthy of God coming to save you.
That's right.
It's going down. The Lord's 53rd Annual Passover.
When we say we no cowards, we talk that business. We no cowards up in here.
Book your hotels now at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, the IHG Hotel, 301 Tucker Lane, Cocoa Beach, Florida, 32926.
Here's a lot of men down. You dealing with the men of war. We at war. I sided with the Lord.
Y'all see this?
Comes with all your dishes, pots, and sports knives.
I kind of like this. This is like an apartment and a hotel room. You know what I mean? Yeah. This here right here is about to be holy ground. It's going to be holy ground. All our beautiful, wonderful brothers and sisters from all over the world. You understand? We can boast that now. Brothers and sisters coming not only from every state, but from all over the world. I heard the numbers this year is ridiculous. We had to buy out the whole hotel.
Friday, April 15th at the Space Coast Convention Center.
My camp undefeated. You cannot debate. You just want the clout. We just want the praise. I'm just trying to get it.
This is going to be glorious.
We don't give a fuck. You can see it in our faces. Got it out the mud. Straight up out the base.
Y'all about Shemal Shah Bracket Thumb. Y'all Shemal Thought Shemal Shah to the sisters. You tune in live. I, UPK Virginia Priestly Captain Dr. Zachary Shah here with another episode of The Bible is Black. We're going through highlighting history and records all throughout the scriptures that prove all throughout historical records and events and things that the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are God's chosen people, so-called Black people that the Bible is referring to, you understand? And we highlighting things that clearly illustrate that the Bible is about race. That is the purpose for these videos, for these classes. We in here with episode, you understand, 25, explaining that the Bible is Black, it is brown, it is Native, it is talking about all of our 12 tribes. This is our history, our heritage, and our records in the scriptures that we are going to get, you understand, all of our 12 tribes. So now, let's get back to it, you understand? Bible is Black. Today's episode, we're going to talk about something that's very well known, and you knew it was coming, the transatlantic slave trade. The transatlantic slave trade is recorded here in the Bible, in the scriptures. It was prophesied to happen as a curse from the Most High to his chosen people if we did not obey him, which of course we did not do. And the prophecies came true. But many of our people do not know, thanks to the Christian church falsely and poorly doing a job of educating us of what's actually in the scriptures, that we are God's chosen people, that Black people are not Africans, that we were never Africans. We ran into Africa from our homeland in the Middle East, and we fled into Africa, just like it was customary for us to do if we had trouble. When Christ was born, he went and hid in Egypt because, as you see in the previous videos about abortion and Planned Parenthood, they wanted to kill all our young toddlers to make sure that a king did not rise up to take over the Jews in rulership, because the Romans thought that they would no longer be in charge over us if we had a king set up again. Christ was born fulfilling the prophecies. And of course, you know, the wicked religious leaders went and took Christ into the Roman on false charges, which is another video, innocent Black and Hispanic men being executed on false charges, put on death row, incarcerated, just like Emmett Till, George Stinney, the Central Park Five, Khalif Browder, and countless other, you know, brothers and sisters in prison on false charges, as it is customary for our oppressors to do, which it also was in the scripture. That's the purpose for these classes here. We're going to jump straight into it. We're going to go now to Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. This is a prophecy in the Bible if you are a Christian, and if you have not been listening to the prophets of the Lord in the ISUPK or anyone else who has repeated what we've been bringing out since 1969, you would not know that this was in the Bible. Many of you, Lord willing, will be seeing this for the first time, and you'll come to class and learn more about the rest of which you were never taught in the Bible, and get out of those Christian church, these religious groups and fake Israelite groups, so that you can actually learn the truth about what is in the scriptures and not one or two things here. So Deuteronomy chapter 28 and 68 says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt. The word Egypt is a Greek word. It's Egyptos. It means house of slavery or bondage. This prophecy said the Lord would bring us into Egypt again. Why did he say into Egypt again? Because we had just left Egypt. Mind you, we are in the wilderness at this time. Everybody knows about the plagues and everything that the Lord sent on the ancient Egyptians, killed the firstborn, turned the water into blood, the frogs, the locusts, the hemorrhoids that the Egyptians were given. You understand, while we were safe in Egypt under captivity, the Lord was plaguing them, wiping out their economy, their military. The last straw was the Passover night to send the death angel through and killed the firstborn of every living Egyptian thing all throughout there. The next day we were freed. They deported us out of Egypt. Now we gone. We in the wilderness. We leaving. Moses parched the Red Sea. Most of these things everyone has already heard of. But what you did not know in most cases is that one of the agreement points to the covenant that we made, that our forefathers made with the Most High, which was not made with the Africans, Arabs, Europeans, East Indians, Asians, and all the other people. It was only made with the children of Israel in Exodus, the 24th chapter, 7 and 8, with Moses and the blood from the elders and the sacrifices that the young men put on the altar, that we made a covenant with the Most High, that we would be his people and he would be our God. And these were part of the terms and conditions that we obeyed his laws, statutes, and commandments and kept his feast days. So the Lord said we would go into Egypt again with ships, meaning this time we would go into a house of bondage or slavery on ships. You understand? This is talking about the transatlantic slave trade, cargo slave ships. You understand? The transatlantic slave trade was all about cargo slave ships. They sold us from point A to point B. You understand? They stacked us like you stack peanuts, like you stack things in a shipping container that you see down at the wharf or at the docks. That is how we were treated. You understand? That's how it was done. They did that for centuries. Many of us died. Many of us got sick. Many of us, drowning in feces and menstrual fluid and blood, and people having cramps and babies and all kind of diseases, and rats chewing on us, all kind of bodily fluids. You understand? People get scared, get sick. You understand? The weak, the sick, the old, the children, the babies, the men, the women, all of us piled in ships in horrible conditions. They did this to us for centuries. You understand? What you did not know is that it was prophesied in the Bible. You understand? It has been prophesied in the Bible. All of this was written in the scriptures. All of this were the details that we agreed to by us taking the Most High's covenant, by us agreeing to be his people and him being our God. This is what we agreed to. And the Lord laid out the terms of the covenant that if we did not obey him, that these things would happen, foretelling our future. Of course, just like now, our people did not obey the Most High. We did not keep his laws, statutes, and commandments, just like many of our people today that eat pork, which is against God, eat crab, shrimp, and lobster. You smoke, weed, cigarettes, anything. All of that is against the covenant that we made with the Most High. You in Christianity, you voting for your leaders, which is treason against Christ, against the leaders that the Lord set up to lead our people. All of these things violate the covenant and the terms that we set up with the Most High, which is why we are dying so much and getting killed. And this was a major prophecy concerning the children of Israel, that the white Jewish man who's never been in captivity or slavery, apart from that little weekend prison called the Holocaust, that they make to seem out as so horrible, which it is, but it pales in comparison to the 99 million black people died in the transatlantic slave trade. They died in the trip over. You see these records here going from Africa all the way over to the west, to the, you understand, Central South, North America, the slave routes, all of these things here, they selling and distributing us, getting rich. The East Indians got their part, they got rich. The Asians got their part. Chiefly the Arabs, the Africans, and the Caucasians, they were the ones that were chiefly getting all of the wealth. All of these slave ports, they try to tell you from Africa. Well, these are the slave ports that the Africans created to sell you. They weren't selling themselves. They were selling LeBron James and Michael Jordan and Rihanna and Whitney Houston and the Temptations and Mike Tyson and Jay-Z, T.I., the Four Tops. These are the slave memorials, you understand, slave auction points, you understand, where they sold us in West Africa. You want to be Wakanda forever. This is what the Wakandans was doing with you in the 14th, 15th century, 16th, 17th century, all in Virginia. You understand? In Mississippi, in Virginia. These are slaves' quarters. You understand? Old slave quarters down in Virginia, still standing to this day in Manassas, old slave quarters in Richmond. This is how we were living. The transatlantic slave trade, which many people do not know, it started with the so-called Native Americans. It started with them. Christopher Columbus, they took Native Americans from the coast to be slaves all the way back up to Seville, Spain, where they just came from. This is another famous slave port in West Africa. They built their entire economy revolved around them capturing, killing, and selling us. You understand? We were sold to the Arabs who built the slave ships. We were sold, you understand, this is in New Orleans. You understand, slave auction sites in New Orleans, in Virginia, in Mississippi, all over. This is how America was built. The cotton that we picked, the sugar cane, all of these things all throughout the West Indies. The world economy was trafficking sugar, tobacco, and us. All of your inventions, all of the things that make the world function, like the laptop, the cell phone, the luggage, the refrigerator, the freezer, the heater, the icebox, all your music, all of the wonderful things that make society function. Even the video game was invented by a black man named Jerry Lawson. The video game, home video game console. Like, this is our heritage. You understand? Explaining this in the scriptures. The Bible said, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt, a complete land of slavery, bondage, with ships. Again, with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. Meaning we would not see our homeland again. That's why if you're black, you don't know where you come from. Our people believe in all kind of things, believing that we come from, we from Europe, and, we from all kind of places. You understand? We don't know where our homeland is. They say you from Africa. Well, where in Africa? Then our oppressor lie and say, oh, you get a DNA test. And the DNA test tell you that you 5 different people from 10 different places, man. A bunch of lies. We're the only race of people that cannot tell you where we come from, where our heritage is. This is what happened. It says, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen, meaning a slave man, a slave woman. Even if you get a rap contract, you a slave to that rap contract. You get an NFL, NBA contract. You on the road. You can't wear what you want. Kobe Bryant was not even free to wear his own jersey because he didn't own his name. You understand? You aren't free to go as you please. You aren't free to protest like everyone else in America is. If you take a knee like Colin Kaepernick, they're going to cuss you out and fire you from your job. If you want to stand with the same rights and freedoms as everybody else, they're going to call you, you're a troublemaker. You aren't allowed to be free like everyone else. You're going to cut sugar cane. This is what bond men and bond women, meaning you got a price on your head. You understand? Our Hispanic brothers and sisters, they got a price on their head. They just uncovered the story where they had our Hispanic brothers, they were shipping them in planes by the thousands to be slaves on plantations in Georgia. The FBI raided several sites, slaves on plantations in Georgia, picking onions and tomatoes for rich oppressors, Caucasians, their empires. You understand? Their businesses, all them oranges and strawberries and onions and tomatoes, they under armed guards with guns. Horrible living conditions. You understand? This is the life that we are living. You understand? This is the life why we are here in America. We are not a part of this empire. This is not our home. They got Hispanic brothers and sisters under the threat of deportation after they've kidnapped them, stripped them from their families, shipped them across the country, and God knows they don't know where they are. And now they got armed guards forcing them the same way they did to us in slavery. They were picking cotton just like we were. The Native Americans were as well. What so happened is the diseases that our Gadite brothers were not used to, the tribe of Gad were not used to, our oppressors' filthy diseases and all of their syphilis from them being just disgusting, evil, quick, wicked people. You understand? So unclean, like they don't wash and bathe and don't wash their food before they cook it or eat it. These things is what made our people sick. That's why the tribe of Gad was decimated. They killed 77 million, died from the diseases and murders when the Europeans came over. Those Quakers, Christians, Pilgrims, Jesuits, settlers that you love and wear them silly Thanksgiving outfits for, that you celebrating every year in November, well, that's celebrating them killing us. You understand? It said, and no man shall buy you. Old Quaker English, meaning we weren't going to get free from this captivity. You understand? We weren't going to get free. And the Lord is going to pay them back for that evil. In Joel 3:2, it says, I will gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. That's in the Middle East. And will plead with them there for my people, for my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. That whole Middle East is where we come from. Iraq, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Yemen, Lebanon, Palestine, Israel, Afghanistan, all of that land belongs to us. None of that land belongs to them. And they parted the land while they sold us in slavery. People moved back and forth. Esau draw all kind of lines. All of that belongs to us. It says, and they have cast lots for my people. They sold our people, like the scriptures said, for bondmen and bondwomen. And sold a boy for a harlot. They turned young brothers into sex trafficking slaves in their harems and sold a girl for wine. They were selling our daughters for wine and liquor that they might drink. Verse 6 says, the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold into the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. You understand? Karen and Trumps and Bushes and Clintons. You understand? All of your senators and governors, this is how they got that power and that wealth to rule over us. Why they in charge? Why they own the shipping containers and JP Morgan Chase and all the automobile places and factories and the companies that control everything. How are they able to do this? They are able to do it because they got hundreds of years of head start and millions of dollars in free labor off of oppressing our people, that they pay us nothing and we are still under them. This has been another episode of The Bible is Black. Subscribe, comment on YouTube. Tune in for another episode. Shalom.
ISUPK 53rd Annual Lord Passover.
Hey, Shalom, Israel. This is the ISUPK down in Florida. I'm Captain of 10,000 Shamoy Yalo. We here to let you know 53rd Annual Lord's Passover is going to be held down here in Florida. It's going down in South Florida, Cocoa Beach.
Friday, April 15th, 2022.
The lamb, the wine, the brotherhood, the sisterhood, you understand? Good music, good weather, the palm trees, the whole nine.
This is going to be glorious. Book your hotels now at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, 301 Tucker Lane, Cocoa Beach, Florida, 32926.
April 15th and the 16th. Don't just book for the 15th. Book for the 15th and the 16th.
It's going down. Friday, April 15th at the Space Coast Convention Center.
Moses told Pharaoh we need 3 days to be able to go out into the wilderness and serve our power the way he commands. You're going to have to get that off with your boss, with your slave master. So make sure you in the building. Cocoa Beach, Florida, April 15th to 16th, 2022 is going down. We'll see y'all there. Shalom.
Black power, 144,000. I'm just trying to make 144,000. 144,000. I'm just trying to make 100.